What's up guys, Andre here, and today I'd like to take a look at Laravel Vapor. Vapor is a serverless deployment platform for Laravel powered by AWS Lambda. It was announced at Laracon US recently and was officially open to the public a few days ago. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of its features. So with Vapor, you're obviously going to need an AWS account. So I didn't think I had one, but I guess I did. And it's tied to my Amazon account. So you're going to need to create an IAM user here, which Vapor can use. So just go into services and click IAM. And you can create a new user here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add a user. Let's give him my username. And let's give it pragmatic access. So we get a key and a secret key, which we can use. And for permissions, let's go here and let's give it administrator access. And we can go next, and we can just leave this. And let's go ahead and create user. Okay, so we have our keys, and now obviously you have to have a Vapor account. So go ahead and sign up for that. And we have to attach our AWS credentials. So go into team settings and AWS accounts, and just say my name, and it's put in the access key ID and the secret access key. Okay, so let's add that, and that was added. There I am over there, and now this should be good to go. Okay, now let's install the Vapor CLI and Vapor Core. So if you go into the docs, you need these two packages in order to deploy on Vapor. So let's go here, installing the Vapor CLI. And you can do it globally, or you can do it per project using Composer. So I'm just going to do it using Composer for this project. I actually tried doing it globally, but there was an error, so we'll just stick to this. So I already have an example Laravel app here. It's not blank, but we'll go through what I did in order to show the features of Vapor. Let's go ahead and add this. Okay, that's done. And now you should add Vapor to your aliases, so you can just access it using Vapor instead of vendor bin Vapor. So for example, I already have the alias set up, so I can just do Vapor and that works. But let me show you that there's an alias. So there you go. If you don't have that alias, you have to do vendor bin Vapor all the time. Sorry, it's vendor bin / Vapor. So yeah, same thing. Just make sure you add an alias, it's much faster. Next, you should log in, I mean. So just do Vapor login, and it's going to ask for your Vapor credentials. I'm already logged in, so I don't need to do that. And next is to install the Vapor Core. You don't have to do it here. It asks later on when you do Vapor init if you want to do this. So let's just do it now. Okay, that's done. Next, we can run Vapor init. And it's going to ask some questions here. That's fine. I'm going to say US East. It's closest to me. Sorry, not 1. US East 1. And it asks to install the core package, which we already did, so I'll say no. Okay. And what that did was it created a vapor.yaml file in the root. So there it is. And this file is responsible for all the build and deploy hooks, the database, the domains, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, there's two environments here, production and staging by default. And you can see the build commands that they're running. And this is fine for default. And let me just show you the app that we're running here. It's just a pretty vanilla Laravel 6 app. I've just added a few routes, and I added the auth scaffolding. I also added view because we'll be looking at file uploads later on. And obviously there is a database, so this stuff can work, logging and registering. So let's go ahead and deploy our first app. All we have to do is run the Vapor deploy command and specify the environment. If you don't specify one, it will default to staging, which is fine. So let's go ahead and run that. This is going to package our application up and send it to AWS Lambda. It will send all our front-end assets to CloudFront, which is AWS's CDN, and do everything it needs to do so it runs properly on AWS. So this might take a minute or two, and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so that is done, and as you can see, there is a URL here which you can access your site from. So click on that, and it says it's propagating DNS records. So this should take about a minute or so. And this is happening because, as you can see, there's this vanity URL that Vapor provides, and it just needs to propagate that DNS. So this vanity URL can serve as your staging environment. For example, you'll have a real domain, which I'll show you how to do later, but you'll have this one as your staging, which can be pretty useful because for me personally, in Forge, I'm always setting up staging and production, and with Vapor, it automatically does that for you. Okay, so about 30 seconds later, this works now. Cool. And if you go into your Vapor dashboard, you can see the new network that it provisioned here. And here it is. And you can see all the information about it here. Also, you can see the project we just deployed here. And as you can see, the two environments, production and staging. So another thing you can do here is, if you go into project settings, you can add the GitHub repo here. And this doesn't actually need access to GitHub. All it does is take the git commit and append it to the GitHub URL. So you can just click on the hashes and that will automatically link it to the GitHub repo. So right now, this is not actually a GitHub repo yet. So that's one difference between Forge and Vapor. With Forge, all deployments are tied to a GitHub commit because a deploy doesn't run until you push to GitHub. But with Vapor, you just run a deploy command and that's independent from your Git commits. So I'm going to go ahead and make a GitHub account here. So I'm just going to do hub create and that should do it. And let me just push this. And now we can use this as the GitHub repo. And now let me show you what I mean by clicking the hashes. So if we go into our Laravel Vapor example and go into staging, you can see, so there's no commit information yet. Let's go ahead and add another commit. Let's just make a change so you can see the workflow. Let me just change the welcome.blade. Let's look for Laravel here. So right here, let's just say Laravel Vapor example. And let's go ahead and deploy this again. Okay, so that's done. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Not that one, this one. Okay, so it updated, and now we can see, we should see the commit information. I don't know why it says no commit information here. Oh, that's because I didn't commit anything. Sorry about that. Let me just add this. Git commit. And then push this. And I think I have to deploy one more time. So let me just run Vapor deploy one more time. Okay, so that's done. Let's check if there is a hash now, and there is. So if you click on this, all it does is take you to GitHub. So that's what I want to show you, and a specific commit. Cool. Okay, let's take a look at some of the features here. Let's take a look at commands. So commands allow you to run artisan commands. So since it's serverless, you can no longer SSH into your server and run commands. So you would do it here. So for example, artisan inspire. Just run that and you can see the output in here. It's running and it's done. There you go. Cool. So environment variables, that would be found in here. You can edit the environment variables in here and add any information you need here. So specifically any third-party keys. So I have a route in here that just dumps out a key to show that it works. So right here, this /env. So let's go ahead and add my key. And I think you have to redeploy it. So let's put hello. It says you have to deploy before new variables will take effect. So let's go ahead and save this. And yeah, I don't think it's going to work until I deploy. So let me see. /env. See, it's null. So again, we have to deploy. So Vapor deploy. Okay, and now let's see if this works now. And there it is. Cool. Okay, what else? Let's take a look at logs here. So I have a route in my app that just logs some info here. So let's go to that /log. So as you can see, there's nothing here yet, but if I go to /log, okay, and there it is right there. Cool. Okay, now let's take a look at databases. Obviously, databases are an important part of any application. So let's go ahead and create one. So you have two options here. You have a fixed size database, which is running on MySQL version 8, and a serverless database, which is running on MySQL 5.6 and is auto-scaling. And for each of these, they can be public or private. So it seems like the fixed size database has a more recent version of MySQL installed, and the serverless ones are still on older versions. So I think the serverless one was just updated to 5.7 recently. So hopefully Vapor upgrades to that eventually. So yeah, it's up to you what you want to use. If I had lots of traffic and didn't want to have to worry about updating my database, then I would definitely go for serverless. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to stick to a fixed size database. And even if you select fixed, there is an option within Vapor to scale it to a larger size if you need to do that. So I think there's an option, you can do it on the command line too, but there's an option if you just want the smallest possible. So let me look for that here. So right here, if we just run this, then it's going to create the smallest one. So it's going to be a fixed size database, and it's going to be public. And for private, that's definitely more secure, but you're going to have to go through an extra step and set up what's called a jump box, which sort of lets you SSH into your server. And that costs extra money, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, you can read about that here. So let's go ahead and run this command, and you'll see it's going to provision a new database, which will take a few minutes to install. So it's called my test database, which is fine. And let's go ahead and do that. So we can see the username and password here, which we'll need to connect it to our SQL program. So I'm going to use Table Plus here. And if you go into our app, you can see that it's provisioning here, right there. So this might take about 5 minutes.
A few moments later.
Okay, so it's done. It took about 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and test it out in Table Plus. So I'm going to grab this host name. If I can, let's go into it. Let's grab the host name. And I have Table Plus open here. I already have the username and password, which we got from here. And let's go ahead and add the host here. Let's test it out. And there we go. It works. Let's go ahead and save this. And let's connect to it. Cool. So here are the databases. There's a default one called Vapor. We can open that. And let's see how to use our database now. So let's go into the docs here. So before we do that, you can also add different database users. You can do that in your Vapor YAML file right here. And you can create them in here if you want to do that, similar to how you do it in Forge. But a jump box is required if you want to do that. So we'll just stick to the master user here. So let's go back into the docs and see how to use the database. So we have to add the database name here in our Vapor YAML. So for staging, let's go ahead and do that. Let's add it right here. And the name is my test database. Let's do that. And we also have to add PHP artisan migrate in a deploy hook. So let's go ahead and do that. So right here, let's add that. Okay, looks good. So PHP artisan migrate force. And now this should work after a new deploy. So let's do Vapor deploy. Okay, so that's done. Let's go ahead and see if the users table is now in our database. And there it is, cool. So that showed that the migration worked. So let's go ahead and double check. And let's just try to register a user here. Let's go to the register. Say user at user.com, password. Okay, so that looked like it worked. And I also have a route in my code that just dumps out all the users. So if I go to the users route right here, I just go there and see if it works. / users. So we'll get to this in a second. It's how to upload files. There we go. So our database has been migrated. Okay, let's take a look at queues here. And locally, I am using Laravel Horizon, which is awesome. So I have a route here for jobs, and all this does is dispatch jobs and X number of times specified in the URL. And all this job does is sleep for 2 seconds, and then it just logs job completed. So locally, like I said, I'm using Laravel Horizon. So I've set my queue driver to Redis because Horizon requires Redis, and I've installed Horizon. So if I run PHP artisan Horizon, so it's running, and then I run that, and then I go to, this is my local project /Horizon. There we go. We should see the jobs process here after I hit that route. So we can go to here again. /jobs / say 5. Okay, so there we go. And there is the jobs right there. Cool. Now for Vapor, it's just using Amazon's SQS service, and there's nothing else we need to do. So if we go into our Vapor example, this should process as well. Sorry, not here, in here. Say jobs /5, and this should return right away, and that should show you that the queues are working. Cool. And if we look at our log section, it should log that information. So if I go into our project and staging and logs, it's not going to show in here, but there's a section here for queue, and there it is. Cool. So one feature I would like to see added is a nice UI for queues, just like Horizon, just to give some more insight on your jobs and everything that was processed. But yeah, out of the box, queues just work, so that's great. Okay, let's take a look at storage and file uploads. So when you're writing your application code in Laravel, the only thing that you need to do differently is file uploads. So what you need to do is stream the file directly from your client straight to S3. And for this, there is a package available that lets you do that. So I already have everything set up here. All I have to do is add my bucket name here. So again, we have to add this key into our Vapor YAML, and it's going to our Amazon backend, and it's going to S3, and I already have a bucket in here that's empty. And as you can see, for all our deploys, it created these two, but I have one here called Dre himself, and it's empty. So let's go ahead and add this to our bucket. So Vapor.yaml, let's add it right here. Let's put it here actually. Let's just say Dre himself. Okay. And let's go ahead and Vapor deploy that. So I'm going to stop this. Vapor deploy. Okay. And while that's going, let's just go through the docs. And like I said, I already have this code in my app. So you have to do this. We just did that. We have to install this package, which lets you stream files directly to S3 from your application's front end. Next, we need to add window.vapor equals require Laravel Vapor, and I've done that already. So if I go to app.js, and there it is right there. And I don't think I've done this. So let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, let's do this. I haven't done this yet. So let me just wait for this deploy to finish. So yeah, I'm going to have to run it again because I haven't done this code yet. So okay, so let me just make this user policy. That's not it. I thought I copied it. Okay. And let's add this upload files method. Just grab it correctly. So it's going to user policy. Let's add that down here. Okay, paste that in. And now, what else do we need to do? So we need to make a view component, and we can store this. As you can see, this example is in view, and I've already done that. Let me show you. So where is it? File upload. And you can see the form input here. It submits to this endpoint, which is in our routes file right here. It posts to it. And we have the input, and we have a submit button. And all of this stuff is just what I pasted in from here. And if you read this, it says all uploaded files will be placed into a temp directory within the bucket. And this directory is automatically configured to purge any files older than 24 hours. So what we have to do after it's uploaded is this. So all this does is take it out from the temp directory and put it to the root of the bucket, the root folder of the bucket. So like I said, I have this already in my code. So in my route file right here. And so when I tried this, I couldn't get it working locally, but when I pushed it up to AWS, it did work. So let's try it locally again, see if it works. So I put that file upload within home.blade.php. So this is when you log in. So you'll see that view component. And I think I'm logged in already. This is the one on the server. Where's my local one? Here. So am I logged in? So I'm not logged in. Let's log in again. Okay, so I'm logged in, and let's go ahead and upload a file here. And let's open up DevTools, see if it works. Let me cancel this first, open up DevTools. And if this doesn't work locally, I'm going to push it up, and then we'll see if it works on the server. So let me just upload my thumbnail here. And let's upload the file. Let's see if I get the same error I was getting before. So yeah, this is the same error I was getting before. Let's see. So yeah, this is the same thing I was getting before. Not sure how to fix this, but like I said, if I push it up to the server, it does work. So let's go ahead and do that. So Vapor deploy. So yeah, if you know how to fix this, if you used Vapor already, please let me know. Okay, so that's deployed now. Let's go ahead and try it on the server. So here, let's go ahead and log in. And I'm logged in already. So let me just try to refresh just in case. Okay, here is the upload component. Let's go ahead and try uploading. And in my code, I have a, where is it? File upload.view. Right here, I just console log if it's successful. So let's go ahead and open DevTools here. Cancel this, open DevTools. And let's just see if it works. Let's choose file. Again, let's use my thumbnail. And let's upload file. And upload complete. Cool. And you can see I have this progress as well. And that updates as you're uploading. So you can have a nice progress bar here. So let's go ahead and check S3 if that worked. So we should have a temp directory and the real file inside of here, inside of the root folder. So there we go. There is the file, and there's the one in the temp directory. So go into there. There it is. Cool. So everything seems to be working. Let's just see if this is the right file. See, download as. And it's a PNG, so it looks like it is. Cool. It is the right file. Awesome. So file uploads is the main thing you have to change when writing apps that are deployed on Vapor. Everything else pretty much stays the same. Okay, let's take a look at custom domains. Obviously, if you have a production app, you're going to use a custom domain. So let's go ahead and see how to do that. So let's go into the Vapor. Let's go into domains. And let's add a new domain. And just add the domain in here. Obviously, you have to own that domain because you have to set some DNS records. So I have one called andredemos.ca. Let's add that. And here is the DNS records that you have to add. So you can either point your DNS and let Vapor handle it and just point it to these name servers. Or you can set up DNS manually and just add these records in them. And I think we need a certificate as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and do this. Request a certificate. And this might take a few minutes. Okay, so that's done. So if I just refresh here. So yeah, this is required to validate their certificate. And you have to add this CNAME record to do that. So again, if you just let Vapor handle all of your DNS, then everything will be done automatically. But if not, you have to add all of these into your DNS manually. And to attach that domain to your project, if you go into the docs here, you just have to add this domain key. So let's go ahead and do this. Domain, let's go into our vapor.yaml right here, and let's add that to our staging. And I'm going to put it right here. And ours is andredemos.ca. And this is going to add a few more DNS records once we deploy it here, over here. So let's deploy it and then let's see the two DNS records that it adds. So Vapor deploy. Did I save it? I did. Vapor deploy. Okay, so that's done. And now, as you can see, we have this new section for the actual domain, and we still have this vanity domain here. And now if you go back into our dashboard, we see these two new DNS records that we have to add. So like I said before, I think this is my third time saying it, either add it manually or let Vapor handle your DNS and just point your name servers to this. So personally, I use DigitalOcean to handle my DNS because my domain registrar doesn't have the best UI, but for some reason I can't add root domains as an alias. So for that reason, I'm just going to let Vapor handle my DNS here. And that's probably the easier solution, since if you add a new project with a new URL, then these DNS records just get updated automatically. So all we have to do is just add these to our domain. So here's my domain name service, and we just have to edit this. And if it's the same, that's great, because I already did this for a project. Is it the same? Let's see. So yeah, since I already did this in a previous project, then my DNS is already set up. And yeah, that should work now. So if I go to andredemos.ca, this should show our Laravel app. And yeah, that's not working yet. I think the DNS has to propagate. It says right here, custom domains may take up to an hour to become active after provisioning. So yeah, I'm going to wait a while. I think I'm going to start editing this video, and then I will be back once that is working again.
A few moments later.
Okay, so that didn't take too long. The DNS has propagated, and now my site is live on this domain. Okay, so another thing I want to show you is maintenance mode. So now that our site has a domain, we can run maintenance mode. And on that main domain, the site will go down, but on the vanity URL that will stay up. So that's a good workflow if you are trying to debug something but don't want the live site up. So let's go into our project here. Let's go into staging, and let's go ahead and I think it's in here. Yeah, enable maintenance mode. So like I said, this is available right now, and so is the vanity URL, which is right here. Okay, let me log out of here. But if I run maintenance mode, so let's go ahead and do this. Enable maintenance mode, and this is the equivalent of PHP Artisan down. Let's go ahead and enable this. So it might take a few seconds. Okay, so now it's active and it's in maintenance. And let's go ahead and try this, and this should be down now. And it is cool. But the vanity URL still works, so you can go ahead and try whatever you need to try here. See, this still works. And yeah, that's a great workflow for trying to debug some issues. So there you have it, guys. We've taken a look at using Vapor and some of its main features. Another great service created by Taylor and the Laravel team. If you want to go serverless and not worry about maintaining servers, definitely check out Vapor. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.